Hi, I'm Strength and Conditioning Specialist Mike Mejia, and welcome to another installment of Splash Magazine's Conditioning Corner. With this time around, we're going to be taking a closer look at some tried and true exercises that we've all done for years to see if they're actually as effective and safe as we've been led to believe. And in the process, I'm going to be offering up some alternative drills that I think you're going to see have a lot more application towards what you're doing in the water and can lead to much more productive workouts. So let's go ahead and take a look at those drills right now.
First up, we've got the suspended push-up. Now for these, you're either going to need a TRX like I have here, or other type of suspension trainer that you can hook up to a sturdy overhead anchoring point. Once getting yourself in a nice neutral spine position, begin by slowly lowering yourself down into the push-up, pausing at your lowest point, and then pressing back up and through. Take your time with these, as there is a tremendous amount of stability needed around the entire shoulder girdle, as well as through the wrist and elbow, and make sure to keep that neutral spine posture, not allowing your lower back to sag or your butt to poke up in the air. To make this drill more difficult, you could always place your feet up on a bench, and that's a suspended push-up. Next, we've got the kettlebell swing to help develop explosive power in the hips. Here you can see I begin with a kettlebell on the floor in front of me, and then I bring it a little further forward so I can get a good pre-stretch on the lats. From there, I rapidly bring the bell between my legs and then explode up and through. The two words you want to concentrate on here are hip hinge. We're not squatting a tremendous amount, but instead hinging at the hips and getting a good triple extension through the hips, knees, and ankles. And that's the kettlebell swing. To best target the core, we've got some plank variations. Now I know I've shown you planks many times before in my videos, but I want to go over them again here because they are such a cornerstone exercise for swimmers or any athlete for that matter. Here you can see Nicole in a basic plank position, where she's got her shoulders tightly packed and she's in a nice neutral spine posture. To make things more difficult, here we can begin by doing things such as adding in an arm raise, trying not to get too much rotation in the hips, trying to stay as flat as possible, getting a good extension in the arm. Next, she'll involve the glutes a bit by extending one leg and then holding for a second, making the plank more difficult. Now you want to make sure that you don't go up so high that you change the position of your lumbar spine here. You want to stay in that nice core neutral posture. And then finally, we're also adding in an elevation change, where she's getting up into a push-up position with as little wiggle in those hips as possible. Moving into the side plank, there are also some different variations you can do here as well. Here she gets up into a basic side plank position, where she packs the shoulders tightly together, looks up at that hand, and then holds in a nice high bridge. Here's a variation which is called the reach under, where she's holding that bridge and rotating through and reaching under. Tremendously difficult core drill, and these are just a few of the different plank variations that you can add into your workouts to target that core area rather than things like flutter kicks and sit-ups. Next, we've got one of my favorite drills of all time, the TRX Row. Now here you can see we have our TRX hooked up to a sturdy overhead anchoring point, and once in position, Nicole begins by pinching the shoulder blades together and down to initiate that upper back pull. And the great part about the TRX is that you can change the difficulty level of the drill on the fly by bringing the feet forward to make things a little bit harder, or bringing the feet back to adopt a more upright position if things start to get too tough. But I love the TRX row for strengthening the upper back and favor it over something like, say, a one-arm row, because I often see athletes using too much weight in improper form when doing the one-arm row. Our final drill is an absolute killer on the lower body, and it's called a split squat to unilateral Romanian deadlift. And the reason I like it so much is that it requires a nice balance of strength, flexibility, balance, and coordination. Here you can see Nicole begins in a split squat position, and then in one motion, as she pushes up with that lead leg, she launches into a unilateral or one-legged Romanian deadlift. You can see how difficult it is to balance here, and she's really driving hard. So that front leg is getting work not only through the quad on the split squat, as well as the glute and hamstring, but then shifts the emphasis to even greater glute and hamstring emphasis on the RDL. Feel free to add extra weight if necessary.
Okay, so there you go. 5 new exercises that you can either sprinkle into your existing dryland workouts or put together in a program all their own. Either way, I think what you're going to find is if you start supplementing these for things like bench presses, Olympic lifts, squats, and what have you, that you're going to get a nice bump in terms of performance, and you're actually going to like the way your body feels in terms of making it stronger to help reduce injury potential. That does it for this installment. Keep your eyes out for the next edition of the Conditioning Corner, and as always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop me an email at mike@basesportsconditioning.com. I'll see you next time.